So I have decided to film my journey. If you couldn't already tell by the title, my name is Amber Blake, and I am 28 years old, and I have been diagnosed with non-hodgkins lymphoma. I was just diagnosed on Monday, which I believe was May 1st, 2020. So, first of all, the biggest question I've gotten, so far is people asking me, how did you know, to go to the doctor, and how did you figure it out, and what were your symptoms and stuff like that. So, my first symptoms started happening probably about 4 weeks prior to making my doctor's appointment. I was having allergy-like symptoms, nothing crazy, just a little bit of tightness in my throat. I felt like I had a lump in my throat a little bit, as if you ate a piece of bread or something and it doesn't go down right, or swallow a hard pill or something and you feel like it's just kind of sitting there. So when I would drink, it just felt funny when I would drink, hard time swallowing, I guess, but not impossible. And then about a week after that, I was hanging out one night with my friends, and I've always had neck and shoulder issues, but because I'm a hairdresser, so we always have neck and shoulder issues, but it was just really almost unbearable. And so I put hot towels on my neck, and I was sleeping with a heating pad a lot and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's related, but I do know that was within this time frame. And then after that, about the weekend after that, I got this really crazy swelling in my face, neck, and head. And I was like, oh my gosh, quarantine snacking is really getting to me. I need to work on this double chin. I've never had a double chin like this before. Why am I so swollen? Oh my gosh. And so I was like, this is just so odd. And I just was like, all right, well, whatever. So then the swelling got worse and worse. And it got to the point where my neck had expanded to out to here. I looked like I was on steroids. My veins were protruding from my neck, which now I'm on a medication to help that. But you can kind of see that vein right there was and then the same thing on the other side. It was and my face had this crazy discoloration, not a redness when you go on a jog or something and you're red. It was like I wasn't getting circulation type flushed. And I also developed a cough. And I was like, what the heck is going on with me? So then I went through the weekend, tried to just fight through it, thinking, okay, I don't know what's going on, but something weird. But we're all right, So went through the weekend. Sunday evening, I just was looking at myself. I'm like, this is getting worse. Sunday evening was probably the worst. Sunday was probably the worst. And this was the weekend before. So the end of April. I'll have to figure out my dates. Maybe I'll write it down in my comment section. So my face was really swollen, really discolored, really red. And it got to the point where when I was getting dressed, I was out of breath. Doing small tasks, taking my laundry out of my washing machine and putting it in my dryer, I had to take a break. I was completely out of breath, winded. And it was a pressure almost that I could feel in my ears. When you have a sinus infection in your head or something and you just you almost feel like you can't hear. That's how it felt. And then I noticed at the bottom of my throat, which is hard to see now. Like I said, I've been on medication now for a couple days, so it's kind of making everything not so inflamed. I noticed at the bottom of my throat, where that dip we usually would have, I had this growth. And I was like, what is that? And it looked very similar. I started Googling, of course. very similar to like people with thyroid issues. And I was like, oh, maybe it's my thyroid, that's like messing with me. I don't know. So let me think. So Monday is when I was starting to get really freaked out. I was like, okay, I have this growth. I don't know what's going on, but we're in the middle of this, coronavirus pandemic, and doctors' offices are not working like they usually would and stuff like that. So I just didn't really know like what to do. So Tuesday, I ended up calling my primary, and I said, listen, like, these are my symptoms. I don't know what's going on. I'm just feeling very odd. Can I, come in and see them? And she went and talked to my doctor, and my doctor got back to me and said, yeah, I would like to see you in the office. So I went into the office on Wednesday, and I told him all my symptoms. I showed him everything, told him like the timeline and everything like that. And he laid me down, turned me one aside, and I told him, like, when I'm like laying on my back especially, and I'm like turning my head to the side, it's kind of hard to breathe. And it's just like very like a weird tight feeling. And so he's like, yeah, there's something going on here, and I don't think that it's your thyroid. So I want to run some tests, and let's go from there. Don't start Googling. It's going to freak you out. So I started Googling, and it freaked me out. And I'm looking at all these different scenarios and what it could be and what it couldn't be. Oh my gosh, I lost it. I'm bawling in the car in the middle of the parking lot at the doctor's office. And I'm on the phone with my dad. I'm on the phone with my mom. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they're trying to tell me right now. Like, something's going on and this is not good. They're like, okay, just calm down. It's going to be okay. So the doctor ordered a stat CT of my neck and chest. And so I made the appointment for the next day. So I got up early in the morning and I went and got some blood work done, and that went fine. Blood work's never fun, but whatever. So did my blood work, and then in the afternoon I had my CT about 2:00. So I went and got my CT done, and I just was so uncomfortable. Like, laying back in the CT, I was laying flat. I felt like this immense pressure in my head, and like that I couldn't breathe, and just felt weird, like not myself. And so I got through with the CT. Then they did an ultrasound on this area as well, and got done with all of that, and everybody there was great and took good care of me. And I left the office, and my dad had drove me there, and he drove me back to where my car was. And we pulled into the parking lot. So this was in 30 minutes of me leaving the CT, and my doctor called me. And he said, it's hard to talk about. It's really new. He said, we found a mass just below your throat in your chest. And it's 11 centimeters by 8.5 centimeters from what they could see on the CT. So, and he also said that it was pressing on my superior vena cava, I think is how you call it, which is, from what I'm understanding, is one of your main arteries that gets the blood from your heart to your head, which is why I've been having like bad circulation. And then he also said that it was pushing on my trachea, which was making it hard for me to breathe, especially when I laid back, like compress it. So the tumor is sitting about right where you could see it when it was popping out there. Apparently that's the top of the tumor. And if you made a fist, it's like about there in my chest. And so he said, here's what I want you to do, because we're worried about your breathing. We want you to go to the hospital, and we're going to admit you and just monitor you and make sure that you're going to be doing okay. And we're going to start figuring out what the heck to do here. So I said, okay. So me and my dad were obviously in a huge panic, calling my mom and my friends and trying to just round everybody up and tell everybody like what's going on and what was happening. And, you know, I'm going to the hospital, and I've never been admitted to the hospital. I've never broken a bone. I've never had stitches other than, you know, cosmetic things. But I was just like, what the heck is going on? So I came home. I said, slow down. Let's go home to my apartment so I can take a shower. Because I was thinking I was going to stay overnight, but something in my gut was just like, I might be there for a couple nights, and I don't know if I'm going to be showering. Like, and I had been doing stuff all day. I wanted to feel clean and just like ready to go and calm down. Like, nothing's going to happen right this second. I'm not going to explode. So we drove back to my apartment, and I took a shower, and I gathered some of my things and grabbed like my AirPods and my phone charger and just stuff that I was going to need, because through the pandemic, we can't have any visitors in the hospital. So we went down to the hospital about an hour later or so, and I was admitted, and everyone had to leave. Being in the hospital with nobody around and not knowing what's going on with you is so scary. Thank God for FaceTime. So, oh my gosh, get myself together. So, I went into the hospital, and I got into my room, and let me think. I think that night I just hung out and slept, and believe the next morning they set up a biopsy. I'm trying to think. Was it the same day? Yeah. So Thursday I was admitted, Thursday evening. And they set up a biopsy for Friday morning, first thing, of the mass. So I woke up in the morning. I didn't sleep at all that night. Just my brain and everything was just racing, and you know, just thinking of every different way and scenario, and like praying to God that this isn't cancer, and just hoping like I had one too many chicken nuggets and I just have this fatty piece stuck in my chest or something. I don't know, but just hoping and praying that it's not the C word. Nobody wants to hear the C word. So I got up the next morning, and 5 a.m. they started coming in my room to take blood. And oh my gosh, I got poked like at least 6 times. And I feel like I'm an expert at this point. So then in the early afternoon, I think it was like around 11, they brought me down to do the biopsy. And so what they did for that was they gowned me up and got me all ready. And they rolled me down to the radiology department, and you lay on a CT table. And I was under local, so you're not fully put under, but like you're taking a nap. And they numbed everything, and I didn't feel anything. I remember laying there, my hands were down by my side, and I just was like, I kept wanting to open my eyes to look down to see what they were doing. And what they told me that they did was they took something that's a little bit bigger than an IV needle, and they put it right into the area of where the tumor is. I believe they did 2 spots. It went on the right side of my like sternum, I guess that is. I don't know. And went right straight through between my rib cage, and then did the same thing here. I don't know how many they took, but they took, I think, 4 of these, like, you know, they took a piece of it to send it off to do some testing to figure out what it is. And so they took those, and I was in and out of there, like, I want to say 45 minutes. Didn't really take that long. And no stitches or anything, because it was, you know, the size of a needle. And so they put a little little cotton over it, and sent me back to my room. And I took the best nap, which I was so tired because I didn't sleep the night before at all. And so I napped for a while, and woke up, and then they told me that they also wanted to do some, a CT of my abdomen and my pelvis to make sure that there wasn't any masses anywhere else. So I was like, all right, let's do this. Which I'd been told now that I was staying again overnight. And so I was like, all I wanted to do was go home, but gotta do what you gotta do. So I woke up from my nap, and they said, okay, we're gonna do the CT tonight. It was like 11 o'clock at night. So I was like, all right, let's do this, whatever. And so they brought me in this drink that you have to drink, and it was like a 13-ounce cup, I think it was. I had to drink 2 of these, and they put some stuff into it, which I think is like an iodine mixture that runs through to show, I don't really know. And so I had to drink 2 of those pretty quickly, and it was disgusting. And so then I drank those, and they took me down, rolled me back down to the radiology department, got me in for the CT, and I don't know, just the flushing and stuff of your IVs, which I had already had an IV, so I didn't have to get another one, thank God. So they just used the one that I had. And so they just unhooked it, put their flush in, flushed it. I hate that feeling. Like, that's just so weird to me. It's creepy. Like, you're putting it in there so fast, it's gonna explode. So, and then they put in another iodine mixture of some sort to run through all of your veins and everything. And then they put you in for the CT, and the CT's easy. You just go in, they have you hold your breath for a second, hold your breath. Okay, now you can breathe. Like, it's super simple. And so I was in and out of there within 15 minutes. And then they sent me back up to my room, and I was like, I was wore out from everything that I had gone through that day, and drinking that stuff, and like not really eating a lot. And then I had to fast before the biopsy, so I wasn't allowed to eat after midnight. And then I ate like a sandwich like in the middle of the day, and like, oh God, it was just, it was a mess. So then in the middle of the night at 2 a.m., I woke up and I had to use the restroom, and I go in and felt funny. And I was like, ugh. So I got back out of the restroom, and mind you, I have an IV thing, tower. So you have to cart this thing every time you have to go pee, and then every time you go back, ugh. So then I got back to my bed, and I sat on my bed, and I was like, oh no, that will not feel good. So then I was like, yep, it's coming. So I hit my call light, and they're like, can I help you? I'm like, I'm with her. I'm like racing back to the bathroom. I'm like, have my little IV thing, and I'm like chugging along back to the bathroom, and I'm like, get there, because I do not want to have like somebody cleaning up after me. So I rushed back to the bathroom, and I started puking. Oh my God, it was disgusting. But I got through it. I was white as a sheet. And the nurses came in, and they're like, you do not look good. So they gave me some, I think it was Zofran, the one you put under your tongue. And they gave me some like ginger and towels and everything. And they took care of me. And like, just the nurses there were just, the day shifts, the night shifts, they were all amazing, taking care of me. And I felt a little better, so I went back to sleep. And then the next day I woke up, which was Saturday, and they did not want to send me home because they were scared that my airway was going to be too compromised. But I said to them, like, listen, I've been feeling like this for a week, and I'm breathing fine. My oxygen levels were 100. I was completely stable. The only thing that they had given me while I was in there was potassium. I don't know. My potassium was low or something like that. So I had gone through all my potassium. My levels were good. I was only on fluids. I was like, I can eat, drink, breathe. I can do everything. Can I just go home so I can take it easy? Like, I would much rather find out what this is at home, like in my bed with my family and my friends, and like, just let me go home. Like, I feel like I'm in jail because nobody could come and see you. So finally they talked to all my doctors and they said, she's looking stable, so let's send her home. So thank goodness they sent me home. So I got to leave the hospital around like the afternoon that day. And my parents came and picked me up. And then I got to go home. So that was good. That was a good day. So happy to be home. So I get back home from the hospital, and my mom had been staying at my apartment here and taking care of my dog and stuff and getting everything cleaned up. So I felt comfortable when I came home. I'm a mess. Like, cleaning is not my forte. Anyway, so my house was all nice and clean, and I came in and I just relaxed, and it felt great to be home, and I had such a good night of sleep that night. And then came the whirlwind. We waited and waited and waited for my biopsy results, and we had a feeling we weren't going to find out until Monday or Tuesday because when they biopsy something like that, it has to be tested like majorly. Obviously, it's a big deal. So we waited, and he said probably Monday or Tuesday we'll know what this is. So Monday morning we woke up and we were just waiting for the phone call. And also in the meantime, my doctor at Florida Cancer called me. I'm seeing Dr. Lunan over there, who is amazing. And he called me and he said, listen, like, I think let's just be as proactive as we can right now. And another thing I forgot to say is, like, in the hospital, everyone was telling me, like, I just feel like this is lymphoma. It's, it's all the characteristics of lymphoma. It's appearing like lymphoma. It's acting like lymphoma. We think it's lymphoma. I said there could be other things, but we're zeroing in on that. So and everybody's like, I don't know why people would tell you this. They're going to scare you and whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm kind of happy that they're giving me, this is what it's acting like. And that's giving me time to, like, holy crap, and swallow it and digest it and say, okay, maybe I have lymphoma. And so when I got that, so he said, let's be proactive. I want you to look into some fertility treatment to save your eggs, because the chemo, if you have to do chemo, this is all ifs at this point, could hurt your chances of getting pregnant naturally, after. And I'm 28, I'm gonna be 29 in October. So just generally speaking, my egg count's going down every year anyway. So I said, okay, I want to be proactive. I want to be able to have kids one day, and let's do this. So he sent me to a fertility doctor here in town. And so we went in for the consult with them, and I think that was at like 12:30 in the afternoon. And I'll tell you guys, I'll bring you on that journey too, but that's just a whole other thing. I was in the exam room, and Dr. Lunan called my cell phone, and my dad answered, and he told my dad that I have non-hodgkins lymphoma. And God, that was the worst thing to hear. You just don't think that it's real. And it didn't hit me, like, right at first. Like, I was really upset, and of course I cried, and my parents cried and everything, and we're sitting in this office, and everybody's looking at us like, are you okay? Because they don't know what's going on. And so while I'm trying to sit there and listen to medications and what to do and how to give myself shots for this fertility treatment, I'm also being told that I have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I'm like, my brain is like, oh my God, what is going on? I'm not retaining any information at this point. I'm like, what is going to happen to me? Am I going to die? Why am I going through this fertility treatment if I'm not even going to be here? Like, oh my gosh, all these awful thoughts run through your mind, and I felt like I was going to die. How long do I have to live? How long do I have? Like, what are you going to tell me that my time frame is? I don't know. You just naturally think the worst. So, we left the office, and then the next day we went in to have a consult with Dr. Lunan at Florida Cancer, and then that's when they were going to like give me a little more of like what kind of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma it is, because I guess there's a B cell and a T cell. So it turns out I have B cell, and that's a fast growing tumor. And but a lot of the times they say that it's good that we caught it, and it's good that it's a B cell because it is fast growing, and if it's fast growing, it's fast to kill. So this is just what I'm being told. So then we came up with my treatment plan, and yeah. So now I'm going through all my fertility treatments. I'm getting prepared to start chemo in about 10 days or so. And I think what I'm gonna do, just because I noticed that I started trying to watch YouTube videos of people that were going through what I was going through, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot, which I understand because a lot of people like to keep these things private. I'm like, I do hair, like I talk to people all day long about everything, and that's just my way of coping with things and just getting it out there and just saying, hey, listen, this is what's going on. We're gonna get through this. And so I guess to conclude my first video, I want to say that I'm going to take you guys as much as I can along this journey, and I hope that I can be somewhat of an advocate for girls my age that find out that they have something like this, because it's scary and you don't really know what to think and what is to come. And I know everybody's experience is different, but maybe they can learn something from mine. And yeah, so I'm going to leave the video off there, and then I will get into what happened after I went to Dr. Lunan and talked to him about my treatment plan. I will talk to you guys about what my treatment plan is going to consist of, how long it's going to be, all that stuff. I got a port placement in yesterday, so that's where I'll get more into that. But at least now you guys know how I found it, why I found it, what I did, how like fast this came on, all of that stuff. So I'm gonna end this video off here, and then I guess if you guys want to see more, let me know. I hope to get a little bit of a better setup. Right now you guys are like propped on a book on my desk. So yeah, just let me know if you want to see more. If you're going through this, reach out. Follow me on Instagram, Amber_Blake6. Reach out, talking about it. I feel like it's been the best thing for me, and especially talking to people that are experiencing some similar things that I am, or the same thing that I am. So yeah, thanks for watching, and take care of yourself.